Hey, what's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Hope everything is well with you. Just felt like, doing video today. I'm out here in these woods as usual. So you know what time it is. As you know, excuse my appearance. Ain't no makeup session. I ain't got a cosmetic uh, a lab assistant or whatever y'all call these makeup artists or whatnot. Hey, it's just the raw out here. It's the raw and natural out here. You know, So of course, you know what time it is. It's another episode of Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil. It's winter season. Tell by how chapped my lips are right now, but bear with me. Yeah, I there's a lot on my mind, and why I wanted to maybe express the thought. I was thinking, like, is there something I could say around this Christmas season? Happy holidays, happy holidays, happy holidays. Anything that might be of help or service. I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to go with. I said, I need to say something, just to, one, to get used to being on here. I'm not big on, believe it or not, I'm not big on social media content creation or whatnot, despite loving, the business sphere and all the other things of that nature. I'm more of an introverted person, but I understand the importance of it. So I was thinking, like, should I talk about something, business related, for the holidays? Like, hey, don't be out here spending your rent money. you know, uh, should I talk about togetherness, on that note? Because that's always important. But what kind of just literally not too long ago that was on my heart was really just kind of really going in my mind about this time of year. And it's not something I really think about that often, but now that I think about it, I've had it's a lot of losses around this time of year. If you're going through something right now, bear with me. I don't want to, make this a depressing video, but I'm just being real. Like I said, it's tell the truth, shame the devil. That's the point of this. It's just to be raw, truthful, just get it off my chest type stuff. And that's just the truth. I've probably lost more people. Actually, some of the most, my I hate to say, use the word. I won't say I hate to say it, but like my favorite people. I've lost some of my favorite people between the fall and winter season, specifically. Matter of fact, when I was younger, around 13, I lost two of my favorite people the same year. One in the fall, one in the winter. Actually started in the winter. It was early the year in January and ended in the fall, going into September. And that theme just kind of continued, even wow, 20 something years after that fact. Show how old I am to say that out loud. But that's kind of that's part of why this is a little sobering. Just a couple of years ago, I lost another two set of very important people to me, literally 3 weeks from each other. And if your family, you already know those individuals. I'm not gonna go into great detail about that. I'm not gonna tear off any band-aids or anything of that nature. But it's just a reminder how short life is. We celebrate these holidays. Everybody thinks about presents and how much money they can spend and a lot of superficial stuff, man. And it's just when you realize the older you get, the more None of that is important. It don't hit like you think it does. It's not something that it's fleeting. It's meaningless. What's most impactful, obviously, are the relationships you have. Like the old cliche saying is, life is about people. And I wouldn't say that's far off. People are part of our journey, our experience. And I'm saying our because we all are living in this reality. Even if you think, sci-fi stuff or we're in a simulation, well, we're all in a simulation together. I mean, however you want to, think about it. If you're one of those people who have the, what they call it, main character syndrome, get that out your head. It's not about you. It's not just about them. It's all of us. And sometimes you don't realize it until you lose people that are very close to you. By the grace of God, I got a birthday coming up. And real soon, within a week from now. And I'm not really sure I'm gonna post this particular video. I'll probably post this maybe around Christmas. I'm not really sure, but nonetheless, it more than likely be around that time, right? And I have a few friends. One's on this side of the world, this side of the dirt, as they say. Shout out to him. He know who he is. Happy early birthday to you. He's doing real well. I always applaud his success in life. But there was another. There was another whose birthday was even closer, actually, to mine, within 48 hours. And similar to our birthdays, she was a very close person to me, and a lot of people, depending on who may be watching this video, already know who I'm speaking on. And if the few times I'm on social media, I always give her a shout out. I'm one of the last people to record her celebrating a birthday. She actually celebrated about a month later than her actual birthday, because it's in December, and she celebrated in January. And I was one of the people who was with her to share that moment. I'm thankful to be one of those people that was with her to share that moment. And sometimes I post, her. Sorry, something on my face. Post on her on one of my social media channels. Her blowing out her birthday candles, and it's it's always a little eerie. I do it for, just for reflection. At the same time, it's almost symbolic, why this person is so special. I guess I can briefly speak on that to give them, the honor and respect in thanking and celebrating that person's life. And I've stated publicly, how this person has helped me, amongst private friends, and her family. So I'm not going to necessarily reiterate all of that. That was for that particular time and place, and for, in the presence of loved ones. But I will say that this individual, I think it was because this person reminded me a lot of myself. Like, I always seem to meet the female versions of me in real life, which is always funny, because they're always the ones that drive everybody crazy. They're the hard working ones. You can't tell them nothing. But when you get to know them, you realize they're really kind people. And I'm not trying to project myself. I'm just being real, I worked with this person. This was a co-worker. I worked with this person almost 3 years. And we seen each other almost every single day. almost every single day, at least 6, maybe 5. They worked me more than anybody at that job. Even the managers, I was there more than the managers. I kept them scores up. I have good work ethic, right? And saw this person pretty much every day. She gave me a nickname because I had the same name as her. I think her oldest son. Wow, wow, man, he's probably. Let me not start thinking about that, like how old he is. That's crazy right now. It's crazy, but yeah, gave me a nickname. It had nothing to do with my actual name. She called me JJ. I only have one J in my name. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'll take it, right? And she was something else. She was something else, man. Like she'd get on you about this, that, and the third. But I don't know, real recognize real. Like I do my job, she does her job. And it's not like she didn't get along with anybody, didn't get along with her. It's like, it's just her. But she worked hard. She was reliable. She was dependable. But what made her stand out was something. If you a Christmas baby, if your birthday is in December or like early January, you already know. You already know what it's like. See, a lot of people don't understand this, man. They don't understand. It's like when you are a Christmas baby, you already know you're not getting the same amount of gifts as everybody else. You are not getting the same amount of gifts as everybody else. It's inevitable, okay? I found this out with my baby brother, when he was born, years after me. It's my little big brother. You're about a half a foot taller than me at this point. I love it. But when he was born, I realized that, like, I would get gifts, of course, for Christmas and birthday. So, and we weren't no spoiled kids, it ain't like, oh, we get everything we wanted or got these real expensive things, so I'm not big on material anyway. I shout out to my parents for that. I have a stoic mindset based off of that, right? Not get everything you want, get what you need, be content with it, right? And there were some times I get some good gifts, don't get me wrong, but I did see a difference with him. Like on Christmas, he'll get like a good amount of gifts, and then on his birthday, he'll also get a good amount of gifts. And this is just money. You know what I'm saying? It's a money thing, right? Your parents, they're not necessarily gonna have the ability to spend double, and your birthday just fell on the time where, if you're gonna do the whole gift thing, well, there you go. So I put it like this: if my birthday or Christmas was supposed to be 5 gifts, I'll get 3 of those gifts on Christmas and 2 of them on my birthday. Whereas for him, he'll get 5 on Christmas and 5 on his birthday. You see what I'm saying? And somebody out there cutting grass in the background, if you can hear them. It's a weird area. I'm in like a wood / country / subdivision. But anyway, it's so yeah, that's just kind of the sentiment of being a Christmas baby, right? If you know, you know. And that's why a lot of us just kind of have a different way of viewing things. But many of us, who have a heart, we recognize that, and we really take that time of year seriously. Like we really become more givers than receivers, right? So our friend, for, if anyone from the camp is watching, who know I'm speaking about, she was real big on this time of year about giving gifts. So she was part of some kind of, I forgot the position, but basically she was in charge of getting gifts through the company, special gifts for different people. And she took it very seriously. She did very well. Like she will ask you, what do you want? And she will find a way to get it for you. Now I ain't saying if you say I want a new car or something, but she'll find a way to get it for you. And they were real personal, sentimental gifts, like for real. And so, I found that out. She'll ask me, what do you want? And I'll tell her, oh, just give me, it's back in my more rebellious days or rambunctious days. I said, man, give me a flask or something, and she'll give me a flask with my name on it, right? I said, oh, give me, she's like, what's your favorite basketball team or whatever, and she'll give me that, like a personal custom thermos or something, you know, and, just, or she'll give me a blanket, like a handmade one, like just real sentimental gifts, right? And so what happened, just long story short, while I was working there, she finally, she was working real hard. She finally got the position that she was working on. She got blacklisted a lot. That happens with people that like me. We get blacklisted because, we can't do that in corporate America. You gotta be, careful. It's always politics. But she earned that position. She finally got it after working for years to receive it, right? And she hardworking, young lady, had 2 kids, unfortunately single mother, but she did what she needed to do. I don't put no baby spoiled. Show up to their games after working 40 plus hours a week, their sport games, and making sure they're taken care of. And she made sure we were taken care of around that time of year. And unfortunately, I was going through some personal stuff that ended up where I was homeless. As this channel is a common theme with me, but there are reasons for that. I don't feel like getting to that right now. But I was homeless. I was homeless for about 6 months. 3 of those months I was in my car. Another 3 I was my partner that worked at the same job. He had a dog spa business, and I was camp out in there with his permission. Shout out to him, much appreciated for that. And even though I was thankful, those 2 places were not very ideal. I mean, where I was working, I had to be had the shirt and tie on, and had to bathe in the same place that dogs taking baths in, and then coming up to work smelling like cocoa butter is not an easy thing to do, all right? Especially navigating things in your car. But I did what I had to do. Was able to work my way out of homelessness by the grace of God. That's neither here nor there. The thing is, the gifts that she gave me over the years helped out a lot. From the cups, the thermos that she gave me, and even that blanket that she gave me. I use that to stay warm some nights. I spent Thanksgiving in a Walmart parking lot, cold, wrapped up type stuff. Still working, still doing business stuff. Yeah, I didn't stop that. We were throwing events. A lot of people didn't know what I was going through. I kept it to myself. I don't, ain't nobody business but mine type stuff, right? This is years ago. There's some people don't even know that. We talking about almost 7-some years ago. It's a long time. But it's those gifts, those things that she gave me. It was real sentimental. And we would talk about different things like our dreams, our aspirations. Like coworkers do. Like one day we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna do all these things, right? And just good conversations, very supportive. And so I got myself out of that situation, got me an apartment, and started doing a whole 180. My life was a little different. My mindset was a little different. I ain't going back to that car, so I'm hustling, I'm doing what I gotta do. And I'm meeting new people, things like that. Situation came where I get a chance to travel out the country, and I remember mentioning it to her, and she decided, everybody decided, like, yeah, about to take this little trip, so like different life. You never would have realized, a few months later, I'm in my car now, I'm about to hit, going through customs type stuff. That was a good feeling. And I would put pictures on my Instagram, showing me, moving around, doing my thing, being on the beaches. And I remember she liked one of those pictures. Now, right before I left, that's when we celebrated her birthday. This was January 2018. And I left in February, right? Just to give you a time frame. And I was gone. I think I was out of work for 2 weeks, but I was really over there for, short little time. I wasn't rich enough, hood rich, I ain't rich, right? But, was able to do my thing, have a good time, come back. Last vacation I really had was that, to be honest. Rest was like business stuff, but I get back and, as soon as I, clock in, trying to get back into the hustle and bustle of work, they said, hey, you heard about, our friend. I said, no, what's going on? Like, she got diagnosed with cancer. I said, cancer? Like, I just saw her. What you mean cancer? I know she was talking about she had a little pneumonia or something. That's what the doctor done said. We like, okay. A little breathing problems, but cancer. All right, that's yeah, it's stage 4. Stage 4. I just saw you last month. Now you got stage 4 cancer. Like, that's crazy. So I'm trying to get, between jet lag, trying to get to the gist of things. I'm like, I gotta go see her. They said she's in ICU. I said, I gotta go to ICU. And it wasn't like I was putting anything off. It's just the optics weren't there. Just found this out, trying to get things together. And I remember that particular work weekend. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see her this Sunday. I gotta go see her. I gotta hit her up. I gotta see what's going on. That's my partner. And Lord and behold, that Saturday morning, manager brought us all together. Said she succumbed. She no longer with us. And talk about hurt. Everybody hurt. Everybody hurt. That was one of my most painful work days. I'll never forget it, right? And sorry, it's a plane. And just one day away from seeing her, and that did something. That did something, man. It that one person and that one event with that person was a big thing that changed the trajectory of my life. I didn't tell a lot of people this, but that trip I took overseas and all that stuff that I was going through, I was already wrestling with a lot of stuff, in my heart, in my mind. And this one person we shared dreams and aspirations with. It's crazy how just the kind acts of people and the relationship you build with them can be such a net positive for your life, and so influential, right? They don't even have to be family. They don't have to, be somebody who you necessarily treated like a significant other or anything like that. They can just be kind people that come into your life that do kind things, and you remember them, and the thing is her death inspired me to take a very unusual risk. And it's not to say, hey, you should jump up and do anything, crazy or anything like that. And I'm not necessarily saying I did anything crazy. It was calculated, but it was just like, hey, there's more that I can try to do. It's I'm gonna take certain risks now. And part of it was because the last place rather she saw me was a beach, having fun in another country, living a life that we both talked about living. And I remember that because when I went back to my Instagram page and saw when she made the post, I knew that she was probably in and out the hospital when this was going on. Possibly in the hospital, maybe even when this was going on. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. And that same year, that's when everything changed. That's when I started moving a little bit well, differently, you know, and it turned out to be a lot of different things, you know, like we didn't know that what 2020 was going to be and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. It was just being inspired by the life of somebody who really touched me, you know, in a positive way. And I won't forget her. You know, I won't forget her. You know, she had 2 little ones. They weren't even old enough to see her in the ICU to say their final goodbyes to their mother, even though that probably more than likely would have been traumatizing for them. I know, because another loved one around this time of year, like I said, I lost more people. I saw her go, a family member. But yeah, man, it's I wanted to share that because, you know, especially people who might see me on my certain social media page posting her, like, you know, what's so significant about this particular friend, you know, or or are they more important than, you know, anyone else you lost? And it's not about more or less, anything like that. But this person's death at that time motivated me to do and take risks to try to achieve the dream that was a reflection of that picture she liked. And I was determined to give it a shot. And hey, I'm still in the dream. I'm still living the dream. It doesn't matter the ups and downs of it. I'm still living the dream. I don't regret it. How could I? There's so much good that came from it. And God used that motivation to put me where I need to be, even if sometimes I don't really understand why. But she was a big part of it. Her life was a big part of it. Her death was a big part of it. And lastly, I just want to leave you with this. That's kind of just sealed the deal for me. Like I said, got a birthday coming up. Her birthday would have been the day after mine. And that birthday, this birthday, I will probably, I believe, for sure, you know, I think my math is right, I'll be a year older than she was. She was gone in her early 30s. Yeah, at least a year or 2 older than she was. 2 kids. A mother, a sister. Good friend, right? Life is short, people. Life is short. So y'all out here in the holidays, you know, worrying about this, that, and the third, you know, what kind of gifts you're going to give your kids. If you have kids, those are your gifts. If you have people around you, those are your gifts. Have a roof over your head, those are your gifts. Have breath in your lungs and health, those are your gifts. Cherish them. You know, everybody always talking about, you know, you don't know what you got till it's gone. But I mean, y'all call them fortune cookie phrases all you want. Don't make them any less true. So y'all be safe out here, you know, and cherish your loved ones. These jets are crazy today, man. Yeah, but that's all I need to say. You know, all I needed to reference, getting that stuff off my chest. You know, y'all take it easy. Love y'all. Happy holidays. If I don't post another video, I might, you know, Happy New Year, I guess. But either way, y'all be safe out here. Peace.